what do you think about the current Indonesian startup scene?
I think it's interesting what also makes find out from the charts that most of the Asian or Indonesian, especially here, they start very young, in a very young age.
I think the startup scene in Indonesia is quite different from that in the Western countries. Of course, given on the one end by the development stage, there's much more infrastructure, there's different institutions, different support systems, different ecosystems in place. On the other hand, it's exactly that people have everything, that they're not as keen, as hungry to risk everything for entrepreneurship. So while we have, in the West, we have a good, highly developed system to bring up entrepreneurs, the hunger, the passion for entrepreneurs is perhaps not as strong as it is here in Indonesia. It's also interesting to note in terms of the maturity of the startups, you find that the startups, particularly in my country, are quite a few years older. Quite often the key founders are between 35 and 45 years, which is not what you would necessarily expect of a startup. So they have worked in the industry for 10-15 years. They had senior management positions, they bring in money, they bring experience to the startup. When they finally start, they quit their careers and then they go into the startup. Here you find the opposite, that many of the entrepreneurs are very young, 18, 25 years, they have no money, they have no experience. All they have is passion and the belief that they could change the world and hope that it's going to work for them. So consequently, the startups that come out of Switzerland are very different. They're more mature, but there's fewer. And they don't necessarily have the strong passion that you have here. Yes. And so it's quite different from a startup perspective. And I think I answered the question before as to the differences in the ecosystem and the differences in the national innovation system as in the collaboration between the government and the private sector. So those are the three components that I think put a very different picture to the landscape for entrepreneurs and startups.